Have you ever wondered why, when you look at global trade, oil prices, or even your country's foreign reserves, everything seems to be priced in US dollars? Why not the euro, the yen, or the yuan? How did one country's currency become the world's money? It's a story of power, strategy, and a bit of historical luck. Let's dive in and unravel how the US dollar conquered the global financial system. To understand the dollar's rise, we need to rewind the clock to the end of World War II. The year is 1944. Much of Europe and Asia are in ruins. The world's major economies were devastated. But one major industrial power remained largely untouched by the physical destruction of the war. The United States, America's factories were booming. Its economy was strong, and it held the vast majority of the world's gold reserves, about 2/3 of the total global supply, to be exact. This put the US in an incredibly powerful position. So, in July 1944, delegates from 44 allied nations gathered in a small town in New Hampshire called Bretton Woods. Their mission was to design a new international economic order to promote stability and prevent the kind of economic chaos that had contributed to the Great Depression and World War II. They needed a reliable system for international trade and payments. The solution they came up with was the Bretton Woods Agreement. Under this new system, other countries would peg their currencies to the US dollar at a fixed exchange rate. And what was the US dollar pegged to? Gold. The United States guaranteed that it would exchange dollars for gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. This made the dollar, in effect, as good as gold. It was stable, reliable, and backed by the largest gold reserve and the most powerful economy on the planet. This was the moment the US dollar was officially crowned king of the global financial system. Countries started holding US dollars in their central banks as their primary reserve currency, because it was the only currency directly convertible to gold. This system worked well for about 25 years. It facilitated a period of unprecedented global economic growth known as the post-war Golden Age. International trade flourished because exchange rates were stable and predictable. If a German company wanted to buy goods from a Japanese company, they could transact in dollars with confidence, knowing its value was secure. The dollar became the universal language of international commerce. However, the Bretton Woods system had a built-in problem. As the global economy grew, the demand for dollars to facilitate trade and serve as reserves also grew. For the world to have more dollars, the United States had to run a trade deficit, meaning it had to send more dollars out into the world than it was taking in. But if the number of dollars held by foreigners grew too large relative to the US gold reserves, it could trigger a crisis of confidence. People might start to doubt whether the US could actually honor its promise to convert all those dollars back to gold. And that's exactly what started to happen in the 1960s. The costs of the Vietnam War and domestic social spending programs meant the US government was printing a lot of money. Inflation was rising, and countries like France became skeptical. They started demanding gold in exchange for their dollar holdings, draining the US gold reserves. By 1971, it was clear the system was unsustainable. So, in a move that shocked the world, President Richard Nixon announced that the United States would no longer convert dollars to gold. This event, known as the Nixon shock, effectively ended the Bretton Woods system. You might think this would be the end of the dollar's dominance. If it's not backed by gold anymore, why would anyone trust it? But something fascinating happened. The world had become so accustomed to using the dollar that there was no immediate alternative. The global financial plumbing was built around the dollar. International loans were denominated in dollars. Commodities were priced in dollars, and central banks held massive dollar reserves. Shifting away would have been chaotic and incredibly costly. The system had inertia. This is where another crucial piece of the puzzle falls into place: the petrodollar system. In the early 1970s, following the oil crisis where OPEC countries drastically cut supply and prices skyrocketed, the United States struck a series of agreements, most notably with Saudi Arabia. The deal was simple. The US would provide military aid and protection, and in return Saudi Arabia and other OPEC nations would price their oil exclusively in US dollars, and any excess profits from oil sales would be recycled back into the US economy by purchasing US government bonds. This was a genius move. Since every country needs oil, every country now needed US dollars to buy it. This created a constant, massive global demand for dollars, completely independent of any gold backing. The dollar wasn't backed by gold anymore. It was backed by oil, or more accurately, the necessity two by oil. This petrodollar system solidified the dollar's role as the world's primary reserve currency long after Bretton Woods collapsed. Beyond oil, the sheer size, stability, and liquidity of the U.S. financial markets also play a massive role. The market for U.S. Treasury bonds is the deepest and most liquid in the world. When a country or a large corporation has billions of dollars in cash, they need a safe place to park it where they can easily access it. U.S. Treasury bonds are considered the ultimate safe haven asset. There is simply no other market in the world that can absorb such vast amounts of capital with the same level of security and ease. So, what are the benefits for the United States? This is often called the exorbitant privilege. Because the world needs dollars, the U.S. can borrow money more cheaply. It can run large trade deficits without facing the same kind of currency crisis that other countries would. Essentially, the U.S. can buy real goods and services from other countries, and in return, it gives them paper dollars, which those countries then often lend back to the U.S. by buying its bonds. It's a pretty sweet deal. But is the dollar's reign eternal? Today, there's growing talk of de-dollarization. Countries like China and Russia are actively trying to reduce their dependence on the dollar. They're promoting the use of their own currencies in bilateral trade and building alternative payment systems. The rise of the euro and the increasing global economic clout of the Chinese yuan present potential long-term challenges. However, dethroning the dollar is easier said than done. Think about it like a social network. The reason everyone uses Facebook or Instagram is because, well, everyone else is already there. The dollar benefits from this powerful network effect. The entire global financial infrastructure from bank communication systems like SWIFT to international debt contracts built around the dollar. Replacing it would require a coordinated global effort of monumental proportions. And right now, there isn't a clear contender that offers the same combination of stability, trust, and market depth as the US dollar. So, the dollar's dominance wasn't an accident. It was born from the ashes of World War II, institutionalized at Bretton Woods, backed by the world's largest gold reserves, and then ingeniously reinforced by the petrodollar system after the gold link was broken. Its continued reign is supported by the unparalleled size and security of U.S. financial markets, while its throne may face challenges in the coming decades. For now, the dollar remains the undisputed king of global currency. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think the future holds for the US dollar? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into how our world works. See you in the next one.